So you may or may not know this about me, but I am a huge Dimension 20 fan. I have been watching their campaigns for years. I've watched pretty much every campaign that's come out, and more importantly, I've watched every second of Brennan Lee Mulligan on screen for any purpose. Ever. So I'm a fan. And I'm actually going to the live show in London this April. So if you are also going, sound off in the comments. I would love to meet up. I would love to hang out after the show. I will be there for sure. If you are not watching Fantasy High Junior Year, you are missing out. I think the cast at this point, they are so familiar with the format. They are just excelling in this role. Just an incredible performance, and it's a delight to watch. Catch up, watch Junior Year. I'm about to be spoiling the season, all the way through episode 5. So last week I made a whole video about Dimension 20 and the most recent season, Fantasy High Junior Year, and I did a whole thing, and I had editing, and I had clips from the show, and I had stuff, and I had this theory about the villain of the show, and that took me more than a week long to do. So the next episode came out, and I guess it's a good thing because I was completely wrong. I was absolutely, totally wrong. My theory, in short, was that the thing that they were dealing with was the creature that was in Lydia Barkrock's chest. I thought that they were maybe mistaken when they originally got it. They said it was a devil. I was like, maybe it's the Demon Lord of Wrath. The Prince of Wrath is the character. It's a Forgotten Realms character. He's a Demon Lord. His whole portfolio is Wrath. And I thought they made that mistake because he attacked Avernus and was captured so that he wouldn't die and go back to the Abyss where he's from. I was like, maybe he got captured in the Hells and was mistaken for a devil because that's where all the devils hang out, right? Wasn't that. Turns out that's a bummer. But this season gave us a lot more details, right? It gave us details about how essentially the creature in Lydia Barkrock's chest was a pit fiend who was trying to resurrect his god in the place where he was created. And that was the rule. Like, the rule is you have to bring a god back from the dead in the place where they were created. And so that unlocks a bunch of stuff. A lot of people are talking about the rat grinders and the way that they are asking about where Yes was created, which is obviously like how you would bring Yes back. I don't know how that benefits them. The funniest possible outcome is they are going to create like a vengeful Yes, like a Yes that is angry at Kristen for creating it and letting it die, which would be amazing. It's kind of a bummer that like whatever happened, like tossed the body of Yes out of that portal, and then it did get banished. But like, I feel like if that was the way the season was going to go, that would not have happened. Like, I don't think he would have like deposited it. Which makes me wonder, like, is that just a dead end or whatever? What nobody's talking about is the fact that this pit fiend, was doing its ritual in the Red Wastes. And apparently that is where this god was created, and then later this god died, and so he's trying to bring him back in the Red Wastes. Now, Red Wastes, big place. It's one of those things where you fill out on like a fantasy world building map to just like take up like this region is the Red Wastes. Well, I don't have to worry about that. So it'd be an insane coincidence. But do you think it is a coincidence that the Night Orb fight took place in the Red Wastes? Night Orb fight could have been set anywhere. Absolutely anywhere in the entire world or multiverse, but they set it in the Red Wastes. I think what's going on is that when Fig drew on that like strange power, she inadvertently completed the ritual to like resurrect this dead god. And or like started the process or something like that. And that's why the dead god is able to do stuff, because dead gods are traditionally pretty inactive. They're not generally causing rage mages in astral malls and like wiping Cassandra off the face of the earth or whatever. So that seems like a lot to do from the grave, unless he's already been revived. So I think that's what's going on. I think Fig and this creature are connected in some way. And maybe the bad kids tie into it. don't know, it could happen. I have no idea how it connects to like their dead person or why they wanted a new cleric. Maybe the bad kids are, or sorry, the rat grinders are trying to resurrect, yes, to like push Kristen back to being Helio or something. And then unrelated to that, there's this dead god that is coming back. Now, so what's the deal with this dead god? Well, we know it's an evil god, right? I don't think the fact that this pit fiend was like a servant to him means he's like devil associated or anything. But I do think that what's going on with her and Galir is related. And actually, so Galir's been unlucky his whole life, right? And now all of a sudden he's getting all these lucky breaks. And I would say, generally speaking, Fig has gotten very lucky most of her life. Like, she's lucked out on a lot of stuff. And now she's having a lot of problems. Is this in any way related to the Rat Grinder's whole fairness doctrine? Is there kind of a god of karma or consequence or comeuppance or something like that that takes pleasure in writing the cosmic scales, kind of a being of order, but not just of like order itself, but sort of like the bad consequences of your decisions or actions? Because if there's been a theme to junior year, it has been choice and consequences of those choices. The bad kids are all struggling with these competing interests, all of these different things they have to do, and Brennan is very purposely pushing them into positions where they have to choose between these areas of their life and suffer the consequences of what they have not chosen, right? Or what they've given up on. I think there could be something to this. So obviously, you've seen this video. I didn't do any editing. I'm not going to do any editing. You know why? Because when I edit, it takes me weeks because I keep putting it off, or I have stuff going on in my life, and then the next episode comes out and you don't get to see any videos. And that's what's been happening the last 3 weeks, is just no videos for you. So that's my theory at the moment. Fig has inadvertently awakened a dead god who is the god of consequence or comeuppance or something like that. Like some sort of lawful evil entity. And that the rat grinders are perhaps also interested in association with this god because they want to be duly rewarded for their diligent work, and perhaps they won't want to get back at the bad kids. Maybe the rat grinders are completely unrelatedly focused on the bad kids and are just an entirely different set of villains that they might need to like make amends with in order to fight the evil god. An add-on to my theory, I think in the next 2 episodes, at some point we will learn the ritual for how to bring a god back from the dead. Because they're going to be interested in like, oh, we need to get Cassandra back. How do we go do that? And when we hear the ritual, it's going to be abstract in some way, and we're going to be able to tie it back to the Night Yorb fight. So it might be that like blood has to be spilled, blah, blah, blah. It might have to be like a willing person. Maybe it's something specific to that god's portfolio, right? So we could say like the consequences to a bad decision or something like that. I don't know what the full list would be, but there's going to be some ritual. It's going to be vague and abstract, and then later down the line, we're going to realize, oh no, the Night Yorb fight, we did all those things in some like convoluted explanatory way, right? No idea how this is related to like food, because that is kind of a thing going on with Fig, right? She keeps getting like drops of food and stuff on her jacket. No idea what that is. The shrimp. There's something food related. The rumbling in the stomach. I have no idea. But it's something. It's something having to do with consequences and with food. Whatever that intersection is, The lawful good god, or sorry, the lawful evil god of food poisoning. I don't know. That's my running theory. We will develop this as more details come in, but I would challenge, it would be a mistake to have any theory that was too well detailed at this point, too predictive. Brennan is very good at hiding his reveals. You think back to like season 1 with Calvaxis. So obviously there's Dragonborn is a race in the world, right? So there's no reason to suspect this vice principal. And then KVX Bank, right? The guy's name wasn't even Calvaxis, right? It was like Golden Horde, right? That's just a generic dragony name. There was no way to know that the vice principal was the guy they were looking for until the very end. Until the very, very end, where they like go through the staff roster and see that there are no Dragonborn and there is some whatever entity, right? That happens third to last episode. So you could be sitting there being like, I think the Red Dragon Calvaxis, and like, look at this principal. He's also kind of Red Dragon. Maybe he's in league with him or something like that. There's no way anyone could look at that season and guess that Golden Horde is the Red Dragon Calvaxis, polymorphed into a Dragonborn, serving as the vice principal. It doesn't make any sense until it is laid out for you. More or less true of sophomore year, right? The Cat Kalina is like a virus is not something I think you could have guessed until pretty late in the season when you have enough data points. Same for like the Nightmare King is actually this like nameless god. Like the nameless god stuff is very late in the season. So I don't think there's any theory that can fully explain what's going on that is possible at this point. Brennan is very good at keeping a lid on his things, and he's willing to dig into like soft magic, into this like very wishy-washy, vague language in order to keep all possibilities open until he like snaps it into focus. So that's my theory for now, and it will change next week, no doubt.